Dear students, in the last video I have been discussed about the definition and meaning of reference architecture, and it is nothing but it resembles three different aspects: description of the software elements, and the interrelationship between the software elements, and the third part, it explains the constraints, the restrictions implemented on the software elements. And in this video we will continue with the meaning of reference model, and we can define like this: is a division of functionality together with the data flow between the pieces. Means already we have discussed it is a structure of structures. It contains many components. How the functionality is divided between it is differentiated and assigned between different elements, that is called as a division of functionality. And how the data is flows between different elements. Okay, in this picture imagine this is a software architecture pattern, and it contains that is different elements. Consider A, B, C, D and E, and A has its own functionality, and B has its own functionality, and C, like this different elements have their different functionalities. And how the data is transferred, how the data is flows between this element to this element, A to B or A to C or A to D, like this. The data transition between different elements, it is explained by the model called reference model. It is just a division of functionality with together with how the data flow between the pieces. Next, it also defines the standard decomposition of a known problem into a parts that cooperatively solve the problem. Always when the software architecture is a complex structure, and in order to reduce this software architecture complexity into simple form, we need to go for a phenomenon called decomposition. We will decompose the elements in such a way that the element behave in the same way, and the element they exhibit the characteristics in the same manner. Like this, we will divide the group of elements in a different form, that is called as a decomposition of a elements. And this is about reference model. And next we will move to the reference architecture. And in the picture we can see the reference architecture. It is nothing but the reference model. It is a combination of architectural pattern as well as reference model. And architectural pattern, what it contains? It contains that is description, interrelationship, and the constraints implemented on the elements. And the reference model, it just it contains the decomposition of elements. It contains a decomposition of elements, and how they exchange the data, how the data is flows between different elements, and these together form a architecture, that is reference architecture. So we can define reference architecture is a reference model and mapped onto a software elements that cooperatively implement the functionality defined in the reference model, and also it defines the data flow between them, whereas reference model divides the functionality. So after going through these definitions, we can make out two main difference between the reference model and the reference functionality. That is, reference architecture is a superset, and within this superset we can make two subsets, that is reference model and architectural pattern. So what are all the functionality are present in a reference model, and architecture pattern are within the reference architecture. Also we can make a second difference, that is reference model divides the functionality, and reference architecture, it is a model mapped onto that software elements. The first one is a division of functionality, once the functionalities are divided, which element or which component has to perform which task, when and how. Next, the mapping between them, it is performed by a reference architecture. And these are the three basic concepts required to study throughout this entire syllabus. And next we will move to the another concept, that is what we can get from the software architecture, and why software architecture is so important. Without architecture, that is a system will be always complex, and on time to time we cannot refine the structure. The refining means here that is the stakeholders, the clients, the views will be changing day by day, the technology is being getting changing. So depending on these things, we need to implement new technologies, new logics, and also we have to evolve with new things there. So day by day there is the software architecture is still young, but it is changing domain. So by that software architecture we can define why it is so important. That is, the first thing is, it is a communication among stakeholders. The best analogy for this is, I want to construct one building, and to construct a building, first I will decide what are the things I want in that building. So I will decide that, and to implement really this in the real environment, I need to consult an architect who will take the requirement from me, and depending on my requirement and the size of the site, what I want to construct the building in that, he will check the feasibility of my requirements with the availability of the size and availability of my budget, and he will proceed next. Without these final criteria, or without implementing the blueprint of the architecture, I cannot construct a building. So like this, it is a communication among stakeholders. That is, software architecture represents a common abstraction of the system that most, if not all, the system stakeholders can use as a basis for mutual understanding, negotiation, consciousness, and communication. And how to arrange, that is negotiation, how to arrange all the elements in one constituent element called software architecture. And consciousness indicates a general agreement between the stakeholders and the architect. And communication is just information, what they want and what is feasible and how to construct. This is a communication among the stakeholders. And next important aspect we can get from the software architecture is early design decisions. Early design decisions, that is, software architecture it manifests the earliest design decisions about a system with respect to the maintenance, with respect to the system remaining development, whether it is respect with the deployment and its maintenance life. It is the earliest point at which the design decisions governing the system to build can be analyzed. That is, when you want to implement the system design, we need to consider first the architecture blueprint. This architectural blueprint explains the overall design of the structure, as well as what is the future development of the architect, as well as how to deploy it. Deployment means I will develop one software and I will install it on a hardware. This is called as a deployment. In general, in layman language, if you want to tell what is a deployment, means making available, that is software to use, and its maintenance life. And if all these aspects are found at the earliest point, then we can design the software in a well manner. And next important thing we can get from the software architecture is, it is a transferable abstraction of a system. Means one software architecture it can be a base for it can be a foundation for another software architecture. That is, the software architecture model is a transferable across the system, It can be applied to other systems exhibiting a similar quality, attributes and functional attributes and functional requirements, and can promote a large scale reuse. The one example for this I want to tell is, if you take one organization, for that organization we want to build one database containing the employees working over there, and all the in this database I want to mainly store the name of the employee, the age, the date of birth, their interest, their that is health information like blood group, okay, that is the current diseases they are having, like this many content I need to store there. Apart from this, all these employees taking the information of all these employees, I can connect with the another software, or I can develop the another software, that is for example this software I may link with the Aadhaar software, so that just by entering their Aadhaar number, I can get all the details of the employees who are employees, he or she working in a particular organization, along with all these relevant details. This is how the transferable abstraction of a system. Another best example for this we can discuss here is, I want to develop one software for online booking of tickets, and the online booking for bus tickets, and in future the same software I can use for with some changes, or without any changes I can implement the same software for a airline ticket booking. The only the mode of transportation is different, and the cost of traveling will be different, like this some modifications, some object modification, some attribute modification I can implement over there, and this is how I can transfer the software architecture from one model to the another model. So from the software architecture we can define it is a transferable abstraction of a system. Apart from this, we will address each of these points in turn. That is, also the software architecture is a vehicle for stakeholder communication. That is, stakeholders are in the many videos we have discussed. The stakeholders are customers here, user, the project manager, coder, tester, and marketing management, and all these people, all these group of people are stakeholders in a software system, and it is concerned with the different system characteristics that are affected by the architecture. For example, the user is concerned that the system is reliable and available when needed. When I develop one architecture, software architecture, and it is reliable, but it is cannot fulfilling the property of availability. In that case, it is, we cannot sell in the market, or it cannot fulfill the criteria of good software. Then we need to implement both criteria here, that is, the system must be reliable as well as the system must be available when needed. And the customer is concerned that the architecture can be implemented on a schedule and to budget. The manager is worried that the architecture will allow the teams to work largely independently, interacting in a disciplined and a controlled way. So I want to develop one software, and I want to publish it. I want to launch it in the market by next month, that is in the month of October. This is my last that is target date to complete all the assigned tasks to fulfill that software. So within that date, or particularly on that date, I need to complete all the tasks assigned by the team of developers. So if I am not fulfilling that, then it is again a problem for the people who are investing on this software. That is, it should implement on schedule and to the budget. And I want to spend a budget, that is the cost to develop this software 2 lakhs. If more than that, the software for implementation and developing that software, it takes 4 lakh, then it is not within the budget, then again it is a big problem. So from the stakeholder, we need to take all these aspects, that is what they want and what is the budget required to